Welcome to another episode of Pels in the Blender. It's your boy A. Davis coming to y'all on this amazing Monday morning. I know a lot of people don't like Mondays, but sometimes you got to speak some positivity into the day. And I'm going to say today is an amazing Monday morning. Shout out to everybody. I know this is a little different time slot, but we got things to do today. So I kind of got to, jump out there, get this one early. You know what I mean? Put this episode out. And to be honest, I was at work yesterday, so couldn't really do it, but absolutely watch the game, watch the Saints, watch the Pels. Um, man, what a day! But nothing that we didn't expect. Nothing that we didn't expect. So want to just go ahead and put that out there. That all of the stuff that's happening right now, we predicted. We predicted all of this. We predicted that. Whoa, shout out to you, Mike. Appreciate you for tapping in. I hope Willie fired today. Look, if you see me checking the phone, that's what I'm looking at. It'd be nice for that news to break. You know what I mean? While we live on the air this morning, I would imagine that if they are gonna make a decision, I would hope it would be early in the day. So because you have a game tomorrow at home. Um, I would imagine they got like some morning shoot arounds or possibly a practice or something like that. If not, you definitely need to be practicing and stuff. And honestly, firing Willie Green should not give people the day off. They need a day to come in and let James Borrego have an opportunity to install the offense. But I am not so sure that he will be fired today. He absolutely needs to. I thought he would be. Today. I thought today would be the day, but again, man, until it happened, I'm not so sure. Pels have practice today for 11 a.m. If it isn't announced before them, he ain't getting fired. Absolutely. That's what I appreciate you, Mike, tapping in. I absolutely think that, like, typically you got your morning, your day before game practice, walkthrough, game plan, all install, whatever the hell they're gonna do for this particular team. And if you are gonna fire the coach and transition to James Borrego, which we predict will be the guy, then you know what I mean. You're gonna have to have an opportunity for James Borrego's voice to take over. So if we don't get that news early in the morning, we won't be getting that news. We won't be getting that news at all. So I imagine probably like somewhere between now in the next hour or two, we'll probably be seeing that. But you've been hearing the reports. Shout out Trey, appreciate y'all. Mike, both Mikes actually, appreciate all y'all for jumping in. But it's one of those things, man, where everything that's happening right now is absolutely predictable. We like coming into the season, and I was wrong. I absolutely was wrong. I thought the talent on the team, them having some new opportunities to prove themselves, uh a chance to actually reshape what the organization could look like, was going to be enough to carry them. And then in my opinion, they had a softer schedule to start. And if you look at the teams and the way that they played, you had an opportunity to get off to the fast start. Like realistically, you should have won the Memphis and Spurs games. Like you should have won those games, right? And even if you say like you don't know what's gonna happen with Boston now that Zion don't play, but if you're playing like you're supposed to, they were 0-3 at the time. You absolutely would have had an opportunity to beat Boston. And then you had Denver, which we probably thought was gonna be a loss. You 3-1. You go to the Clippers. Again, you got an opportunity against the Clippers. Even with you playing as bad as you've been playing and all of the shit going on, Poole off the bench, Jeremiah Fear starting, Trey and Herb and them still not kind of playing well. All of the stuff going on, and you still tied, you know what I mean, with a shot at overtime with all of this going on. So you absolutely could have came into these first 6 games and had a shot at 4-2. Because you wouldn't beat OKC anyway. But instead, they came into the season with Willie Green. And in my opinion, what I think happened was they started the season in Memphis, and Trey and Herb did not, the Memphis and Spurs games, Trey and Herb as players did not get off to the start they wanted to get off to. They did not play well. They did not play well in those games. And then the coaching was not good at all to supplement that. And then once they made the lineup change, I think everything just went downhill. Like the Zion missed game 3. I think you had confusion surrounding that. You not playing Derek Queen when Derek Queen was playing well. You starting Jeremiah. Like all the dysfunction just started hitting, and the team quit. And you see it in the effort. Like they were not even if you go back and look at the Memphis game and the Spurs game, they might have not been good as far as like the defensive schemes and stuff like that. But it felt like they were at least playing with more effort, more energy. After the Spurs game and you go into the Boston game, all of that died and went away. They started coming out flat. You couldn't get the scoring. Like you could just tell by game 3 they had completely quit. And then in 3 out of 4 games you lose by 30. Like that's what it's going to look like. So while absolutely you see, and the way that this typically works is the coach got to go first, right? Like that's one of the easiest fixes. And we talked about it. We talking about, like, people been talking about Willie possibly being gone for years, but it's the easiest fix to do it. And if they do not do it, that's some sucker shit. You know what I mean? Like if essentially the players this is their version of a riot to a degree. This is their version of a riot. And I want to address the coaching part first before we move towards the players, because what they're doing, I understand it, but at the same time, it's absolutely unacceptable. And part of it, you have to determine if this is something they're controlling or what they're not, like something they're just bad and stuff like that. So let's address the coaching aspect first, and then we'll talk about the players, because the players not going to get a pass in this either, because a lot of the things that they're doing is kind of being swept under the rug because people want the coach fired so bad that, you kind of get in the pass. So as far as the coaching aspect, like we all know Willie Green is not a good coach, like at all. He's not a motivator. He's not a strategist. He's stubborn, all of that stuff. Oh, I'm tripping. I'm tripping, but like, first off, not the kind of pause where I was at just now, but shout out to I know yesterday Pro Pels did they 500 episode, man. Shout out to them dudes, man, for just being consistent, being there every day for people like me and people like y'all to be able to follow and support when things were tough and you didn't have nobody to go to. And so shout out to them for their 500 episode, and all of the other people that do Pels pods and stuff like that cover this team, that help y'all get through times like this and give you the information about stuff that we don't know. So just wanted to get that out there. Shout out to them. But back to the Willie Green aspect of this, man. Everybody already knew Willie was bad coming into the season. Gail Benson, Mickey Loomis. Whoa, shout out to you for tapping in, bro. Appreciate it. Mickey Loomis, Dennis Allen, Kellen Moore, Joe Dumars, and Willie Green all need to be arrested on RICO charges. It seemed like it's an inside job, right? The political part of the game really impacts us as fans that just want to see good basketball. You want to see a good product being put out there. And the tough part about it is we tend to forget that, like, when you talking about sports and stuff like that, these organizations, while they're millionaires and billionaires and stuff like that, this is all being ran by human beings, bro. Fickle people with emotions, insecurities, pride, ego, all of that stuff. right? And all of that comes into play when we're watching the way, and when I say watching is when you see that they don't fire Willie Green or they don't want Griffin. Griffin wanted to fire Willie a year ago, right? And I understand them saying, no, you can't fire Willie Green. But think about this for a second. The Suns owner, came in and fired. He fired, was Monty there when he got there? He fired Monty, hired Frank. Fired Frank, hired Budenholzer. Fired Budenholzer and hired another new dude, right? Bro, he had a new coach every year. And yes, he's one of the richest owners in the league, and the Suns have not been great, but that's a guy that's like, hey, this isn't working. We need to try something else. Shit, I was wrong. That's not working. Let's try something else. When David Griffin wanted to fire Willie Green last season, right? Last season. And I'm pretty sure when he brought in James Borrego in the 49 win season, he probably wanted to fire him then. But the season went so well, and you know what I mean? He just didn't have not a leg to stand on, but he just didn't have a leg to stand on to do it. But he wanted to fire him last season. And we could have got all of this done, all of everything we're experiencing this year. You could have lumped all that shit into the 21 win season. Hey man, we fired Willie, we assessed Borrego. Like, we could have had this year, could have been last year. So this offseason, even if you was gonna hire Joe Dumars, could have just been a completely fresh season. Hey, bro, I want to say I appreciate y'all and all the other teams that cover us and call out the BS. Y'all make the whole experience tolerable. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you too for tapping in and supporting the show and all of that. Because I'm gonna be honest, like how I look at it, I started the show essentially because I needed my own version of a vent session. Like, the team sometimes can be so stressful, and we get a lot of negative Pels. Like, one, you don't get no real media, like national media coverage of the team. That's first. And then second, when you do get any type of media coverage, it's all BS. It's all BS. Shout out to Mike, man. Mike B, my partner, bro. We was in our group chat, and we talking about how, example, like the first time anything happened, like our season, obviously terrible right now, right? Everything's looking bad. People didn't like the Joe Dumars hires, and they've been killing the Pelicans in organization, like in NBA circles and all of that for the hire, right? Fair enough, whether the team has been bad or not. But this is the part that makes people that follow the team and support the team like frustrating, and makes you want to like this is what makes you defend them. Like, you don't want to defend them because they don't do a good job defending themselves, but this is the part that makes you want to defend them. So everybody's saying right now, the conspiracy theory about, oh man, maybe the NBA placed Joe Dumars in the organization so they could tank and then move and yada yada. So if that was the case, bro, the Wizards been bad. The Wizards been bad since John Wall was there. How many years ago? Sacramento got one, like, they've been bad for 20 years. Detroit was bad for almost 20 years. The Knicks, obviously you don't move the Knicks, but the Knicks been bad until Tibbs got there for like 18 years. The Hornets been bad. However, like, we talking about decades of, just being god awful. Some of the worst teams and some of the worst basketball you've seen season after season after season after season. Yet, if you really take the history of the Pelicans, while we're critical that we're not where we want to be, and the historical aspect of it is, no, we only have two playoff series wins in, what is it there, the history of the organization and all of that. But in the last stretch, let's say the last 4 years, you got two playoff appearances in the last 4 years. You had been a up and coming team, and you know what I mean? Like, you had some things happen to where, in comparison to some of the other teams and organizations that they talk about or they don't talk about, the Pelicans do get a bad rap for like their national media and stuff like that. So I don't really want to defend the Pelicans, especially today, because we know that they don't make decisions like based on being like the most successful or doing like they're not doing everything they can to win. Like it's not about that. It's about relationships, who you like, the politics, what's gonna make us look a certain type of way, making sure we don't get a bad media rep, like stuff like that. So I understand all of that, and they do not deserve any like defense or credit or anything like that. The only thing is with the national media shit that's really upsetting is not a level playing field. Like is in the way that they cover it is really what makes you defend them. Like to say that based off the talent and stuff, to say that like when ESPN picked us to win 30 games, nobody was saying, hey, Willie Green is awful. They didn't believe in the roster, and they were so mad at the draft pick trade, right? So with all of that, that's where the BS comes in, at least for me. So I ain't even really want to talk about that, but I had to just kind of throw that part out there because with everything happening and it's finally starting to make national news, everybody's starting to come up with the conspiracy theories talking about, oh, maybe they're trying to get them to move the team and all of that. Maybe it's an intentional tank. No, I don't think it's an intentional tank. I think these people are incompetent, and then they're incompetent, bad at doing their jobs, right? They're terrible at doing their jobs. And then, they do a good job of controlling the media here. Nobody in the building asks the tough questions. And the people that do ask the tough questions, you forced out. Boo Crew Media let you know that too. Let me get these. Shout out to Boo Crew Media and Pelican Scoop, Pelicans Post Game Report, Pelicans Digest, Pels in the Blender. All these teams get me through this. And low-key makes me want to do my own too. Bro, get you a show. Get you a show, man. The more voices, the more opinions, the better, in my opinion. The more voices, the more opinions, the better. And I absolutely support. Absolutely. I honestly think we need more bad national media attention, but focused on ownership. That's the one thing Gail responds to. Absolutely. Absolutely. The only problem with the national media thing is they don't watch the team enough. Like, they don't really be knowing what they're talking about. It's just, for example, the year that they really trashed Zion when we made the tournament, the Pelicans, what's the name of the thing, man? The Cup in Vegas. When we had the semifinal game, it looked like what we look now against the Lakers, and they beat the brakes off and they beat them by 30. And it was like, oh, Zion's fat. Zion's this. And it's like, bro, where y'all been? Zion like been looking that way. And they only criticize Zion for looking fat and stuff like that. But ain't nobody watching the like all of those times that the team got blasted on national TV. Like, we were one of the worst national TV teams like in the league. To the point where nobody ever thought to say, man, can Willie Green coach? None of the national people thought to say anything about, can Willie Green do a good job, right? What's going on with David Griffin in these moves? Why? But again, like we kind of do that to ourselves. Is Willie the fall guy? Do you think Joe D is telling Willie to start fierce? No, I don't think. Is Willie the fall guy? I think Willie has created this situation himself because of his own stubbornness and ego. Like, every person has to have some kind of ego, especially in like the professional level to a degree. But Willie continued to get in his way like all the time. All of this is off of pride. None of this is, first off, Willie is not a strategic guy. I don't think Joe Dumars face in game 2 showed you what Joe Dumars thought. I don't think Joe Dumars is in support of this, but I just don't know why or when they can't just go ahead and make this move. Like so no, I don't think Willie Green is necessarily the fall guy. And again, we're gonna get into the players portion of these motherfuckers have been like, they have been just And even sometimes if you trying to stand up for something, it could be unacceptable, but y'all still got to play the games. Y'all still got to play the games, and y'all the ones that's out there looking like looking extremely bad. I seen someone say they need to play Fizz more minutes. Like, tell me you don't know. Exactly my point. Then it's not to say that Fizz isn't playing well, but realistically, and again, I've mentioned this ever since they started Fizz. Like, he has a lot of potential, a lot of talent. I absolutely believe they hit on the number 7 pick, and then Jeremiah Fizz is like the starting point guard for this team. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, you see the game. But at the same time, like, you, based on the roster construction now and what your plan is or was, like, he should not be starting. It is hurting him and it is hurting them. Ever since, and respectfully, ever since Jeremiah Fizz started starting, they have not been competitive other than one game. It is not Jeremiah Fizz's fault. It just doesn't help the team. It just doesn't help the team. Now, my thought was, if you're going to start Jeremiah Fizz, you still need to start Poole. You still need to start Poole. Like, if you just want to start him that bad, give me Poole, Fizz, Trey, Poole, Fizz, Trey, Z, and whatever 5 you want. Obviously, you're not playing Derek Queen, so you could throw Missy out there. You don't need to be playing DeAndre Jordan. Bro, we had a lot of hopes for Carlo. Carlo can't see the floor. I have no idea. Carlo in preseason looked solid defensively. He looked athletic. He was being able to shoot a little bit. He was giving energy. Carlo ain't seen the floor other than garbage time. Derek Queen, and again, in 2 of your most competitive games, Derek Queen was the essential part in why you were competitive. In all 3 of the games that you were competitive in, Derek Queen was instrumental in those. Meanwhile, he getting DNPs. I don't understand, but that's the Willie Green element of it, and that is why he needs to be fired. No game plan adjustments. We just need to play harder. What other than the lineup adjustment, right? Which is a bad lineup adjustment. But other than the lineup adjustment, what has he done as a coach that we've seen, like, strategically to try and change things? There have been none. So you can't say he's a good coach when, yeah, you make a lineup change, but you're not running different offense. You're not trying different defenses. You're not switching nothing up at all. So really, what are you doing other than causing more turmoil, not doing the job? That's another reason he needs to be fired. Shaq prove he does, bro. Shaq don't watch nothing, but he don't watch none of the games but when they come on work. Shaq prove he doesn't watch games by not knowing the Detroit record last year. Who the head coach? Oh my God, said Zion needs to do more when he was playing statistically his best basketball, bro. Shaq is one of, like, Shaq, those dudes are entertainers, right? Like, sometimes we got to understand that, not that they don't have basketball IQ and all of that, but when we watch TV, like, we got to remember the element that this is entertainment. Those dudes that are entertained, they ain't worrying about these games. You know what I mean? They ain't worrying about these teams. They damn sure ain't worrying about our team. They don't know who we are or what's going on. So, like, shout out, like, respectfully to Shaq, like, great player, LSU legend and all of that. But when it comes down to, like, comment, and that's what it is with most of these people when they talk about the Pelicans and what's going on. They don't watch the team. They don't know the transactions. It's just kind of like you just watch the box score and be like, oh, Zion looks like this. You're not watching none of these games. 100% a team that's trying to win isn't also trying to develop a starting point guard. Can't do both of those at the same time. It's like starting a rookie QB. And listen, and I like Jeremiah Fizz. Not what's his name? Dylan Harper not even starting. And they starting point guard out. Dylan Harper still coming off the bench. So what are we talking about? They starting Jeremiah Fizz respectfully over a $30 million player. A $30 million player that's your second leading scorer on the team. And honestly, he's your second best player right now. Like, Jordan Poole, like, and again, the two games, the 2 games to start the season, like Jordan Poole, while not great defensively, was active. Like the effort was there defensively. The energy was there offensively. Like you can tell they were trying to figure it out. And again, you had damn near a 20-point lead in Memphis that you blew. Coaching blew that. Like, and Trey being god awful, blew that game. In game 2 against the Spurs, you up 8. You up 8 in the 4th quarter. Coaching threw that one away. So it's just like it's ridiculous. Like what that, and like even if you watch those, Jeremiah Fears played huge parts in both of those games. Why? Off the bench, where his role was able to be maximized, he was able to have an opportunity to do the best. Like he was having an opportunity to score and flourish and just do his thing without having to overly worry about, I got to give Zion the ball, I got to give Trey the ball, and not making a defense say, you playing a 9-shooter. Herb's a 9-shooter. Your big Macy's a 9-shooter. Fuck it. Like, that's why you down. That's why Z can't get no shots. And again, you can shoot bad shots, but we already know Zion don't play like that. Trey Murphy has not lived up to what it is he needs to, what it is that he said he was going to be as well. It's starting to come along as, as the season is going. He's starting to, get back somewhat into who he is. But those are the reasons that Willie Green needs to be fired. Those are the reasons. I've been saying Carlo must be the worst practice player ever. Dude gets on the court, looks fine, and goes missing for a few months. Listen, I don't understand the Carlo stuff. I don't understand the Carlo stuff. Practice starts at 11. We'll be shocked if there's a move after that, if there's not one before. Pretty much. Just checking it. That's what everybody's saying. Like the practice is getting ready to start, and like we should be getting this news within the hour. To be honest, we should be getting this news within an hour. So I don't know, but Carlo, when we watched Carlo in preseason, Carlo looked really, really good, in my opinion. Not saying that he was going to be great, but you were excited about having a potential player that was unique to anybody else on your roster. So, like, if anything, I think somebody asked earlier, was this like an inside job or like a tank job? If anybody's doing the tank job, it's Willie. It's Willie. He's not giving himself the best opportunity to win games or to keep the job. Excuse me. At least if you're gonna play the rookies, play both of them. Play both of them. Like, playing Fears is one thing, and I said, bro, I've been saying this for a while. Willie is playing people based off of who he relates to, who he feels reminds him to a degree of himself. Maybe more talented, but that's why he connects with players like Herb Jones. That's why he connects with players like Jose Alvarado. Like, Fears is just incredibly talented, incredibly more talented than he could believe. But that dude just like I refuse to lose, skill, will. Like, just listen to the way Willie Green talked. Like, the way he's talked about Jeremiah Fears in his interviews, and just think about the way he talked about Trey Murphy. You could just tell the difference from day one. And that's why you see, like, he's a coach who bases off favoritism. And ain't nothing, it's hard to overcome that, man. It's hard to overcome that. Not a damn thing. Absolutely not. Is it just me, or does it seem like everyone who isn't a Pels fan wants the team to be moved, or it's just hard hating? You know what's crazy? It's like a lot of people that's not Pels fans may want the team to be moved, but realistically, the NBA would want nothing more than New Orleans to be great and competitive. They don't want to move the team because there is no other place in Louisiana, in the United States, like motherfucking New Orleans. Like New Orleans. Why you think they keep having the Super Bowls here? Why you think they keep having All-Star games here? The Sugar Bowl here. Like, all of the major events love New Orleans. When the Super Bowl, bro, people was like, oh my gosh, this is the best place ever. And when when the team is good, or they seem to have some kind of optimism, look how much they put New Orleans on TV. When we first drafted Zion and they had Lonzo and BI and all of that, the NBA wants to support New Orleans. They want to. We cannot get out of our own way, in my opinion. And we're so bad that the national media don't care about New Orleans because it's not a big market. I'm saying specifically the NBA knows that if New Orleans is good, there's a lot that they can do with the New Orleans market because the city is just extremely unique. It's just terrible that we suck. If I was Willie, I would have stepped down last week to keep getting fired off my resume. Absolutely, you don't step down. You let them pay you. And I said this too a while ago that I think Willie is not, to a degree, I think Willie has been bullied to a degree in his Griffin years, right? I think Willie's been bullied to a degree in his Griffin years. So now this is his version of standing up for himself. That's what I think this is, because he used to pick and choose, in my opinion, of who he wanted to be tough with and who he didn't. And I understand that star players get star treatment. That's one thing. But like he would hold Trey Murphy accountable for bad play and stuff for bad play, bad defense. You won't see Trey Murphy get minutes and stuff like that. But Herb Jones is held to a different standard, as if Herb Jones is just some fucking, 20-point scorer and stuff like that. Like, I just don't understand. It's just the inconsistencies are there. But at the same time, I think Willie, we said this last season, and I didn't have the show last season, but like a lot of my posts was this, and Boot Crew was real big with this too, was that like when we were talking about, man, you just need the tank, it was like, you don't have to intentionally tank. Just let Willie keep coaching. He's gonna tank. He's not good. Him trying to win is a tank. And I think right now he's trying to win, but he's just not good. He's just not good strategically. He's just bad. More like he's just bad, and they don't like him. So they done checked out. Jose complained about not getting playing time, and now he's seeing double-digit minutes. That's his boy. I said that when I thought, what game was it? The Clipper game. I thought that that possibly could be, depending on if they got blown out that game, that could possibly be Willie Green's last game, because after the Nuggets game, that's when they really started putting the rumblings out of like, oh, okay, this might really be it. And people started picking up the story like, oh shit, like the Pelicans are this bad. What's going like? And I said on the show that what Willie gonna do on his last, like if this is possibly his last game, he gonna show his boys some love. You're gonna see Herb Jones get some action. You're gonna see Jose got 16 minutes. Jose was going from DNPs, and the first game Jose didn't play. The second game he had like, what was it, like 4 minutes, 5 minutes or something like that. And then since then, he's made like Jordan Hawkins that fell out of the rotation, when realistically, not that Hawkins been great. Hawkins been absolutely terrible, to the point where you feel like you couldn't play him. I understood, but Hawk been damn near better than Jose, and I like Jose. They both been just as bad. They've been just as bad, but Derek Queen can't get minutes. Everything that I think about, I'm just like, bro, why can't Derek Queen get minutes? Like, even if he's making rookie mistakes, for like 3 and 4 year veterans to still be making mistakes, like I'd rather play the rookie that's more versatile than both of them, that gives me something defensively and rebounding and all of that. Like bro, that is why the dude needs to be fired. The NBA Finals were in the I don't know if we'll see it in our lifetime. I hope. But it's like though the people that was like diehard Saints fans and lifelong Saints fans that didn't get an opportunity to see the Saints win a Super Bowl and have a parade and all of that. The NBA Finals are possibly 7 games. You get You get at least 2 at home, possibly 3, 4 if you you know what I mean, 4 if you got home court advantage. Bruh, if somehow this team, not this team, but the Pelicans or whatever we change our names to or whatever, if that team somehow made the finals, the NBA and the parties that would be, oh my gosh, that would be happening. It would be unlike anything that I don't think it would be comparable to anything that they've seen in the league ever. Like all the finals in New York, like, well, not in New York, but like all of the finals that the Lakers didn't had and that Miami didn't had, and all of those big cities that constantly go to championships and that, you know, I'm pretty sure they know how to host the finals. But if this damn city was to ever make it to a finals, the way that the fan base and, oh my, bruh, it would be insane, especially like throughout the entire time with how many games you get in the city depending on the series. National media hates New Orleans and Memphis. They say move to Seattle, but the city of Seattle wouldn't pay for a new stadium. That's why they lost the Sonics. Listen, moving to Seattle gonna do what? Moving to Seattle gonna do what? Because that don't mean, like, Seattle wasn't good. Like the last time you saw Seattle wasn't no great team. Like you can still be bad. You can move a team and still be and still be awful. Like the Raiders not good. They moved to Vegas. They're still not good. You know what I mean? Like you see teams move all the time and still don't get it right. That don't necessarily mean you're gonna be successful or it's gonna change anything. You're gonna get a new market. And what you'll end up doing is you'll lose that potential for those New Orleans All-Star games and all of the other stuff that the NBA likes to do in New Orleans. So so that's that part of it. So we kind of discussed Willie Green, to a degree. I think most of the Willie Green stuff is self-inflicted to the point where he's just not a good coach. He has not lived up to his part, but at the same time, like it's not like he was the most highly like sought after coach even when they brought him in. So Willie kind of hit his peak, if you be honest. Like if you're Willie Green, based off like the expectations of when they hired him, like you know, you got a team that wasn't good. Like your best player wasn't there. You made the playoffs. All right, you lost. You made the playoffs again and lost. You made the play in a couple times, like bunch of injuries. Like if you Willie Green, like you overachieved. So shout out to him, but he's not good. So a lot of this, I like, yes, he needs to be fired and he needs to be removed, but that don't mean that's gonna fix the problems, because what you're seeing, and now it's time to transition to the players, because I hate that it took so long to kind of discuss the players, but what they are doing and how they are playing is absolutely abysmal, disrespectful, and like just oh my God. Pelicans so bad, Schmidt who are coming back to Twitter to complain about them. Man, shout out to Schmidt. You know what I mean? Schmidt has been connected. He's obviously in the, got sources in the building and stuff like that. It will be very interesting to see, because Schmidt posted, I think this was last night, that according to his sources, that Willie would still be fired today. So again, we own the clock. That's what I should have did. I should have put a Willie firing clock up here. Willie is on the clock right now. Again, I don't think if he's fired before 11 o'clock, you won't see it. But in real Pelicans fashion, they'll let the man have a whole practice and then fire him at the end of practice. Who knows? Who knows what else? Well, now, if you guys are anything like me, you probably been checking to see Silly Green ass fired on. That's why I shout out to you, bro. Appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, man. Subscribe if you haven't. I got the phone out on the side, so you see me keep looking away. I'm looking for that notification that has been done. And we kind of come to the conclusion that if it don't happen by possibly 11 o'clock, that is possibly not going to happen, and you'll see him. Now, this is what I do know. If they do not fire him, and the game, and he's the coach of the game tomorrow, whether they announce him or not, the boos are gonna be like, because any game he coaches, I'm expecting him to get blown out. Like, they just play the Clippers so well to where like they just match up, like, you know what I mean? They just match up well with the Clippers and everything. But like, if he's the coach of this game, the next home game, and come back after all that happened and took place on this road trip, like 0-6 to start the season, like people in New Orleans been waiting to, like, just been dying to boo somebody. Like, and the Saints look bad, but again, the Saints being bad is really not as bad as the Pelicans being bad. Like, the Saints being bad is different. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't boo the Saints right now because I think they're doing exactly what they should be doing. And I spoke about that before, not to like transition into the Saints stuff, but they played one quarterback and looked good for a little bit. I don't know. Maybe we can trade them later, or maybe we got to back up. Now it's time to play the other dude, the 26-year-old rookie, figure him out. We got a new coach. Like, they finally got off the coach. They letting the new coach kind of figure out if he's good or not. So, like, the Saints, and they got their picks. So the Saints are in a much different situation than the Pelicans right now. So, like, people that supporting the Saints, yeah, you want to win, but they weren't in position to win. And it's frustrating when you're losing, but you can see, like, okay, and again, maybe they're going to fuck it up because it's the same organization and that's what they do, but you can be okay with what the Saints look like. The Pelicans are completely different. Not only do we not, shout out to you, not only do we not have the picks, right? Not only do we not have the picks, but you got the players. You got the players and you just not playing them. You got the players and you not playing them. Or if you are playing them, you playing them wrong. Or when they start getting, like, even when you playing them wrong, this is the part that's crazy. Even when you playing them wrong, and see that like, it kind of transitioned me from taking the slack off the players and putting it back on Willie Green, because even when they're playing like bad lineups and they start figuring out rhythm, then you switch it up again and then fuck that rhythm up. So, like, that dude is just awful. But to transition, here we go. Told my dad my grandkids gonna have to watch Willie's kids coach, and we ain't never getting rid of him. Probably not, bro. I don't know what he's got on the organization. I don't know what he's got. Who's gonna want this job without any picks next year? Borrego will take this job. I think Borrego could do the job, to be honest. And I don't think not having a pick next year is the issue, because I think we could, if we're bad, we're already bad. But if we can, like, I think until Willie is gone, 0-82. Until Willie is gone, 0-82. We ain't getting no wins, 0 wins. And the longer they wait, the more losses that'll stack up. I told we didn't already drop the numbers, man. Willie will give you a 10-game losing streak in a heartbeat. Willie will give you a 10-game losing streak like it's nothing. He do that all the time. He didn't add it. Now he didn't add it losing by 30 all the time. Losing by 20 all the time. Blowing leads all the time. Like, this is cakewalk for Willie Green. All of this losing. So, like, as far as the, like, that part of it, like, until he's gone, it won't matter. But as far as who would take the job, I think it depends, because Borrego will take this job. I think if you move, if they're bad enough to where, like, if we move in Trey and Z and all of that, you're going to have a ton of picks. So you'll be in the draft next year, or, you know, whatever, unless they mess that up. But I think a ton of coaches to take the job, because you're going to have Fears and Queen, which a good offensive coach. Fears has already shown he's something that you could work with. Queen and flashes have shown it, and we got to remember, you got to give Queen some grace, because he didn't have a summer league or a training camp. Like, this dude learning on the job and actually is playing okay, and then getting DNPs. Like, coach not helping him at all. So you kind of got to give Queen some grace. I think the potential is there to where a coach will come in and be like, all right, I could do it, unless they just like, I can't do the ownership thing. That's what I'm interested to see. I think Borrego can finish the year, but depending on what other jobs are open at the end of the season, Pell job is probably going to be the worst available in open role. Probably. But I think if they offer, I think he's going to finish the season for sure. I think he's going to finish the season for sure. The only problem I see is if they try to underpay him. And I don't think he's going to get paid hold on, let me read this. Schmidt tweeting right. Schmidt tweet with his Dumars was instructed by ownership to cut costs because Griff adds too much of them. A lot of what you're seeing is a result of cutting corners. Also, promotional stuff requires sponsors, which the Pelicans are struggling to retain. All flows back to the money. So I don't know. Everybody talking about the money and all of that. And look, all of that's cool. Cutting costs, I don't know. I feel like all of that's kind of excuses because not that you can't cut costs by not firing Willie Green, but I think how I would view, at least if I was a business mind, how I would view the cutting costs, or I wouldn't look at it as cutting costs. I would look at it as creating more opportunities, create more revenue. Because if you keep Willie Green, and this is based off what Schmidt tweeted, so this is why I'm discussing this real quick, and then I absolutely want to get back to how bad the players have been. But if you keep Willie Green, you do what you're doing right now. You start off 0-6. Fans don't want to come to the games. People are not engaged. National media, you're not getting no coverage, no entertainment, no nothing, right? Where if they were smart, you would bite the bullet, fire Willie Green, hire a good coach, right? Imagine the amount of the positive national media you would have gotten for hiring Mike Malone, right? Now people are interested in your team. And instead of you being 0-6 with the most 30-point losses that an NBA franchise has had in the history of the league in 6 games, maybe you start off 4-2, 5-1. Who knows? And then they're talking about you different, and now your sponsorships roll in. Or now people are more people want to come to your games. More people want to buy your merchandise and stuff like that. So that's the backwards thinking of and I don't want to say I'll say the institutions of New Orleans and stuff like that. It's never moving in a positive situation. It's always, well, we're not going to make this decision because we're going to save money by keeping them. Well, it's the damage that they're going to do while they're still here is more beneficial, is more damaging than what you're going to get if you remove them and bring in a positive person who can turn this shit around and have your stock going up way higher than the decline that you're on. Let's see. Why they keep playing Jose and Hawkins? Jose, the type of players you send to make a store run, the future assistant coach. Shout out to Jose being very supportive in that coach role. And point guards make the best coaches. Jose, I believe Jose probably out there helping coach and trying to do what he can because he knows his coach can't do it. But they playing him because Hawkins ain't even been playing lately. So he done got him out the rotation. But Jose still playing because Willie like him. I did the episode about this last episode, but I think Sam Cassell only gets hired if we move Zion. If Z get moved, I think they go to the new route of bringing in a first-time head coach or something like that. If they keep Z and Trey and Herb and all of the pool, then I think the only way they do, they hire an experienced coach. Hawkins played great in the last game, and his stat line resembles us the fans, bro. Hawkins, if you look at the stats, have not been terrible. His plus minus hadn't been bad, and he's had bad plays and stuff like that. But even in the Spurs game, it took him a while, but he hit some shots and he hit some free throws and started to kind of figure it out, and he's just not good. he hasn't been playing good based off where you picked him in the projections and stuff like that. But I can't say you haven't had players worse, but like based off the way that you've been playing the team, like even if he hasn't been shooting the way we expected him to shoot, you still need to put people that's supposed to be capable of shooting out there. Hulk just lost his confidence. Hulk just lost his confidence. Jose is a good locker room guy. I bet he is. I think a lot of them dudes are good locker room dudes. Honestly, I want Tibbs. That was really my potential hire that I thought could come. Like, I think Tibbs would be the perfect hire, to be honest, because like where you are, that's if you keeping Zion though. I'm not hiring Tibbs if you're not keeping Zion. I think what they will do is I think they will keep Borrego. If they fire Willie, they gotta fire Willie for any of this to be a thing. And that Borrego, again, like we said, is gonna have the first opportunity at this job. Because if not, then what would be wild if they fire Borrego and then announce Collins as like the interim. Announce Collins as the interim because he's longer tenured. I think Borrego is the number 2, and like typically when they've moved on, they've given like when Willie has missed a couple games, Borrego was the guy coaching, and they brought him back, specifically you think for this purpose, but that just would be some Pelican shit. Oh, y'all think it's Borrego? He'll go Jaron Collins. Zion would love Tibbs. That's the perfect kind of guy, but I don't know. He might end up having Tibbs at his next stop because the way that they plan and looking, he gonna be out of here. Good command and presence, strong leadership, good for Zion. Will keep Zion, everyone in shape and plan. Absolutely. And Tibbs is a winner. Like, and that's when I did the episode about the coaching possibilities. Tibbs hasn't won a championship as a head coach, but he's been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals. His team's progressed. He might run your ass into the ground, but he takes organizations that haven't been good and consistently makes the playoffs, produces more out. Like, he gives your team and your organization hope. Tibbs gonna have Z legs roasting like a brisket, absolutely. But fuck it, you might as well pressure cooker by game 40. But Stan was doing the same thing. And in the year that they had Stan, that's when they first went and Tibbs to me is a better Stan Van Gundy. But what Stan did was like, why are we playing him off the ball? Stan came up with the point. Zion, he was playing the most minutes he had played in his career, and he had his most productive season. That was under Stan Van Gundy. So if Tibbs gonna do that, then why not? That's kind of my point. I like Borrego. Hope he does well, but if not, Tibbs would be my first call. I think Tibbs is the realistic. How I would do it is I would go James Borrego if you do well this season. I'm calling Mike Malone just because it's Mike Malone, right? I'm offering Mike Malone the job. After Mike Malone is Tibbs. If Tibbs don't want and or don't take this job, Sam Cassell. That's my top 4. Like my coaching decision, how I would do it. Borrego this year, if you look well, I think you would deserve an opportunity to keep the job. And you still probably would have to interview, to be honest. Like, I'm not just like, unless you turn around mid the playoffs or something like that, then you could keep the job. Other than that, like, they'd have to look completely different for me to just give we have to just give him the job. But like Borrego, Mike Malone, because you're the only champion, not only, but like the only championship coach that's coached recently that's available, that makes a difference. So Mike Malone would be the next call if you're really trying to win and contend. After that, it would be Tibbs because of the resume, the presence, and what Joe Dumars said he wants the team to look like. Tibbs is perfect. And then after that, Sam Cassell, because I think young coach, point guard, fears your future, fears point guard. It just makes sense. That would be the top 4. And then after anything outside of that, I'm not saying that it can't be a good coach, because you still got people out there, Chris Quinn and some others and stuff, but like that would be the top 4 ideal hires. Do you think Willie getting fired will make as a segment on ESPN? Yeah, because the team been bad. The team been bad. The team been god awful. And they already starting to be like, what the hell going on? Like, we thought they was going to be bad. We didn't think they was going to be this bad. So if he got fired, I absolutely think that it would be something that it'd probably be mentioned as like a final segment. Like, all right, we're getting ready to close the show. The Pelicans fire Willie Green, by the way. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. Kind of one of those type things. It ain't going to be no real discussion. The only discussion they're getting ready to have, the discussion they're getting ready to have is the Pelicans need to move their players. Like, what are you doing? You don't have no pick. You might as well move y'all bad. Move Zion, move Trey, move Herb. That's what's going to be the next couple discussions. Z loves Stan. Tibbs is the next best thing. Absolutely. This organization is a disaster behind the scenes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Corey Brewer. Or you talk about the coaching, they're going to be like, hey, man, look, we fired Willie. The next guy that's going to lead the ship during this process is Corey Brewer. I'm sorry. What now? What now? That's a real Pelicans thing. But we're getting ready to close up, but I don't want to forget to talk about how fucking bad these players have been playing. And like, it's that part, like, you can't overstate it. You can't overstate it, because what they're doing is having me believe that even when, and a lot of people like talk about the roster construction and the players and the talent and all of that and what it takes to win in this league, but they are looking so bad that even if you change the coach, right? Even if you change the coach, it's still going to be a challenge for them to play well and win games. And we gotta discuss that at some point. Like, part of it is the effort. Yes, part of it is the effort and the strategy and like what goes into these games. At the same time, these dudes are still, how are you still not getting back like in transition defense? Like, that's one of the simplest, most easiest things to do in basketball, in my opinion. Like, the shot go up, run back as fast as you can, bro. Somebody stop the ball. Anybody stop the ball. Please, look, I got him. I don't care who else. The other man might be open. I at least guarded the ball. Run back, guard the ball. We 6 games in, still horrible in transition defense. Horrible in transition defense. I'm not going to even talk about like the offensive schemes and stuff like that. Like, all of that is just, like that those things are like things that you kind of can attribute to coaching to a degree. What I'm talking about is effort, and just how you look. Like, y'all get bullied and look disinterested. And at the end of the day, if you play, even if you trying to lose, right? If you are like, some people hate to lose so much. Like, after somebody's constantly punching on you, at some point you just be like, you know what? No, fuck that, dog. I know we supposed to be tanking, but I can't take this. Like, I can't take this. I gotta get this rebound. This dude talk, and NBA players, they probably talking shit to him, saying whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, basketball is a really disrespectful sport. Say, bro, y'all trash. So we gonna beat y'all by 30. Like, you know that, right? Like, coming into the game, like, hey, we about to smash y'all. You ain't gonna do nothing about it. Like, you hate your coach that much that you gonna let somebody talk to you like that? And you ain't gonna do nothing about it, huh? Okay. That's on you. That look bad on you. You can't rebound. You're not even, like, Z at one point was averaging 10 rebounds a game. Damn near. The first 2 games was averaging 10 rebounds a game against two of the toughest centers in the game. Right? And like, where are we now? Like, what, bruh? This is on them. This is on them. And I don't know. Trey hasn't had his best game, I would say, was game two against the Spurs. And then, he still had the defensive lapses and stuff like that, like the mental mistakes. Like, Trey been having defensive mental mistakes for, like, I mean, Trey's not really a great defensive player, but you have to go hard on, like, you got to go all in on the offense, right? But they've been playing weak. And at least if you're not going to be a great defender, then mentally you can do the thing you're supposed to. Get back, box out, contest, right? Like, you might get beat off the dribble, but at least I did my job and then go under the screen on them, man. Stuff like that. These dudes need to be held accountable. It's a mix. The poor play is a mixture of the team that is playing hopeless and effortless. Plus, this is not a properly constructed roster. Still not a starting quality center. All of those things are true. Not could be true, are true. So I don't want to say that. All of those things are true. The problem is effort. Like, that's why Willie ain't gonna never not start Herb, because Herb gonna play with effort regardless. Herb plays with effort because and Herb not playing great. Herb is a defensive player that's not playing great defensively. But bruh, he running back. He pissed off when, like, he just mad that we ain't getting back. Like, that's just trying. That's just trying. And that is quitting. But you're not just quitting on your coach, you quitting on yourself. That's the part where I'm just like, oh, these dudes are losers. These dudes are losers. And you don't just turn this off. Like, once you start, I firmly believe once you start losing, you find ways to lose. Y'all not just good enough to just be like, all right, he gone, we just gonna win now. As of right now, we got one shooter in the starting lineup. Exactly. And that's why your offense is hard. But see, that's a coaching thing, right? That's a coaching thing. And Zion being your best offensive player, and the fact that he's quit, and he pissed me off in the first game one when y'all was still being competitive. And I keep pointing this out, man. He had in the third quarter, there were points of the game where he was in the game where Memphis was making their run and he was pouting. That's loser shit, dog. Like, even if you missing, you got to be in attack mode to stop the run and stop the bleeding. It's too many times where, like, if it's not ideal, or he got to get really upset to get engaged. Like, no, you got to be on go at all times. Like, a couple of these games, you got 27 and like, he had 27 in the first two games. Dog, you need 30. You need 35. You see Giannis knows for Milwaukee to have a chance, I need 35 and 16, 35 and 14, 33 and I'm not saying that Z is Giannis. I'm not saying that. But Giannis is willing to shoot that bitch as many times as possible. He'll come down not pass to nobody. Z need to be on that type of time. But that's why he ain't that kind of player. And I like Z. But at this point, I got to hold him accountable. And a lot of people want to get on the skill. He ain't developed his game. He hadn't, developed a second shot and all of that. All of that's true. But he's still physically more gifted than most of the people out there playing. And he still can create and do all of the things that he can do, to the point where he still can dominate a game. It was to the point where it's like, man, Zion, shout out to who said it? Who said it? I think Lito said it. I think Lito was like, man, Zion ain't been impactful. That's for Zion to be able to score 25 in a second half, or like go on those runs with 27. It's just, he's still impactful, but it's not the impact that you need to have because he's disengaged. And disengaged is on you. Disengaged is on you, bro. Like, that shit don't just, the teams don't have Louisiana mentality. As a man, they should be embarrassed. That's the part right there. Like, bro, when you play any, not just even sports, though. Like, when somebody bullying you, you know what people look at when you just say, dog, did y'all lose by 30? People probably ripping them. Like, no, like, you look like a clown. You look like a clown when you that bad. I think on offense, Trey and JP need to lead the team in attempts in the regular season. Let Zion coast to the playoffs considering his injury history. We ain't going to get that. We're not going to get that opportunity. One, because Jordan Poole on the bench. And to be honest, the starting lineup needs Jordan Poole to space the floor. There is not enough shooting. If anybody needs to be benched, it's Herb. Bench Herb, put Sadiq Bey out there, put Derek Queen out there, somebody so you can have more offensive options or more people that can do things. Like, if not, you're going to continue to get the fuck beat out you. And it don't matter who your coach is. It don't matter who your coach is because you're not maximizing your roster. You are not a good defensive team, right? They do not have the parts that they've had in recent years defensively. So with you not having the pieces, Najee, Dyson, Herb was playing better. Larry Nance was a good defender. JV, while they talked all that shit about JV was a solid defender at the 5, right? All of those parts are gone. Missy is young. Carlo don't play. There is no Najee. You know what I mean? With all of that being the case, you have to lean into the offense. Willie is not going to do that, so hopefully he can be fired. We're at 10 o'clock, still no firing. So I'm imagining they're going to come out and continue to do the same things that we've been seeing them do. He's dug in. You just lost by 30 again. If you change the lineup to what it is, why can't you go back to when you was more competitive? That's the problem. Think about it. You made the lineup change because you really thought this would give you an opportunity to win. Okay, cool. You've had 4 games to assess lineup changes. You have not looked better in that situation than you did in the first 2 games. So why not go back to the first 2 games and see if you can at least look as competitive as you did in the first 2 games? Pride. He won't do it. OKC top 3 in effort stats. Rebound, steals, shot attempts. They are bottom 5 in shooting and 3-point percentage. They can't shoot, but they play defense and rebound. Bro, they play defense, rebound, and they create so many opportunities. That, like, they don't have to shoot a high percentage, but they hit timely shots and they create just more attempts. They don't shoot it like Boston. But when they star know, I'm getting 30 plus every night. So the star gonna do what stars do. I'm gonna control the game, get to the foul line, be unstoppable, make the defense. I don't care who out there. Make the defense have to play to me and all of that. And then he makes it easier for everybody else. That's what Zion needs to do. 27 ain't enough. 25 ain't enough. You cannot go the first half with 3 shots. I don't care if they are playing great defense on you, bro. Like, you still got to shoot the ball. In an ideal world, I think Z is a great number 2 on the championship team. I don't think he'll be a true number 1 at this point because of the mold and lack of shooting. I agree. But that's on a championship level team. He could be the number 1 on just a playoff contender. Like somebody who just get to the playoffs. He's good enough to do that. But maybe not. I could be wrong. Herb defensive fall off has been so disappointing. He's definitely the odd man out, 8th of the starting lineup. Yeah, man. I personally wouldn't, like right now, I wouldn't start him. And I understand he's one of the only ones playing with consistent effort. And he has shot the ball a little bit better after he had like those bad games. It's just right now he's providing way too many limitations to the offense and not doing enough defensively to where like it's worth playing him as much as you playing him. Like Herb averaged almost 30 minutes a game. Like, and I said this too, that like in order for this team, I thought to be good, Herb was gonna have to shoot like 40% on like 6 threes or something like that. You know what I mean? 6 to 7 threes a game. I just don't think it's possible. They're gonna start a mutiny in the locker room. This dude not fired today. No, they're not. They should, but they won't. 10:09. No news yet. Hey, yesterday we didn't pass the ball over 4 times in a possession. Selfish basketball being played. So selfish. We've always been an ISO team. Willie Green has no offense. No offense, no structure. And then when you frustrated and you struggling, you just trying to do whatever you can. You just trying to do whatever you can. So like they're not. That's why when you hear Willie say stupid shit, like we just gotta trust each other. Like that's what he mean. We gotta trust each other and like pass the ball, 0.5 and all of that. That's not the tough part. Is they don't have any offense, like no offensive principles or offensive structure to where they can lean on and say, okay, this is what I should be looking for if I'm struggling. This is going to give me an easy shot. Like if you notice, all of the offense is tough offense. The lineups don't help because there's no spacing. There is no easy shots to be made. And then when they do finally get into a rhythm, right? Queen and Z developed a little bit of the rhythm. Come on, come sit down. Right? Come on, come sit down. That's just, bro, it's deflating. It's deflating and it's discouraging. The Pels need Zion, Poole, and Trey to have 20 a night to be competitive. So the only time, and I think Poole had 20 when they played the Spurs. I know Trey had 21, Z had 27, and I think Poole had 20. And that might have been one of your most competitive games against a team that was undefeated until last night. I think the Spurs finally lost their first game. But you saw what you could do, and Herb was awful that game, right? But that's how they need to play. But they have to, like, Z and Trey need to be on the floor together. Like, if you bring, so like a lot of people were saying, like, okay, yeah, Poole need to come off the bench because if you bring Poole off the bench, he could run the second unit. But you bringing him off the bench with no other offensive players. So a good coach is going to be like, oh, they brought Poole in off the second unit. Either we going to double him or we just going to put our best defender on him and make it tough until you bring another offensive player out there with him. Like, so even bringing Poole off the bench where you thought you was going to get some offense, and yeah, he had the 30-point game. He had the 30-point game because he's skilled, bro. He's a good player. But the limitations that you're putting your team just at so much of a disadvantage to where you're liable to have more terrible games and lose and get blown out than good games. The roster's already limited and you're not maximizing it. And you're not even building for the future because you're not playing Derek Queen. I don't understand what he don't like about Derek Queen. That's weird to me. Every time we run Z pick and roll with Poole or Trey, good things happen. Problem is we run one every 2 or 3 games and do it every time down the floor. They won't. People been talking about this and been preaching and begging for this for forever. Like a lot of teams honestly just run pick and roll all game. Like when CP was like elite CP3, it was all pick and roll. Everything was pick and roll. Like, I just don't understand. Like, and if you, bro, shout out to Joel Myers and Antonio Daniels. Those dudes do such a good job, like, in the game, calling the game and stuff like that. It's constantly just, when you get your best players involved in the actions, good things happen. And then that might be in the first quarter. Then you wait and you don't hear it. You got to get, like, it'd be 4 quarters. You got to get your best players in the action. Like, bro, why are we going 3 quarters without your best 2 players spamming pick and roll? Like, if you play 2K, if you play some of this regular dog, you always just put the ball in your best player's hand. Pick and roll is the easiest thing to play. It's the easiest thing to play. And no doubt our guys need to step up and play better, but Willie defends our players better than the opposing teams. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he's going to continue to do that because on like, I don't know. He's just not. I just wonder what are like when they meeting, when they having practice and stuff like that, right? When they having practice and going through walkthroughs and shoot arounds, like, what do y'all think the energy in that building is like? Because Trey ain't making no all-star like this. Do you think, at what point do the players start being like, man, get me out of here? I'm just wondering. Because at some point, like, and when do they go to Joe? Have they not already went to Joe? Joe, what's going on, bro? What we doing? And then, again, you only could defend them so much because they are not doing their part. That's the part that's like also the problem is you only could give the players so much grace and so much credit because they are not playing hard. They do not get back. They do not play aggressive. They do not play fast. They do not shoot. They do not pass. Like, they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing well right now. They don't do nothing well right now. And listen, I'm a person who picked this team to win 49 to 50 games. It was like people are insane for saying they can't be good. So, like, I believe that they had the potential to be a good team, and you see it in spurts. You see it in spurts. You definitely shouldn't be winless. But I don't know. What time do they speak to me? Again, practice start for 11. They typically during practice, they'll do like the kind of like recap of what they thought of last game, what they expect going into the next game, how things been going. They talk to a couple players. If you notice, and this also has been pissing me off, is after these games, you have not gotten any post-game pressers from Zion or Trey, Herb, Poole. Well, Poole been giving you a little bit at the locker room. You have not heard Z talk about these games. Matter of fact, let me check YouTube for sure just to make sure. Because, like, you need these dudes on record. You need these dudes on record and holding them accountable for what's going on. None of them have been having to go to the podium and talk after these games. None of them. That shit weak. That's weak because you letting them off the hook, or you don't want them to say what they really think and what they really feel, which is also some sucker shit. The national media ain't asking Willie about the rotations. Poole got benched because he told Willie off. Yeah, I know Chaz. I shout out to Chaz. Chaz mentioned it, you know what I mean, that him and Willie had to falling out. That's obvious. I mean, we called that. To be honest. When they was benching him for those extended periods of time, bro, Poole got high basketball intelligence, right? Like, you can tell. So when you're smart and you listening to somebody who's incompetent, like, you like, dog, what, like, you can't stand to be around those people. And again, I said it, they was allowing the players to speak up more. And he probably said, like, Poole probably said some passive aggressive shit. Like, man, this dude don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Oh, word. And Willie now is like a person who's been getting bullied over the years to where he's just standing up for himself now. Yeah, he gonna bench Poole. He'll bench Poole. But Herb Jones is gonna continue to start. When Herb has just not been good. Even when Trey, people been talking about moving BI was the opportunity to start Trey Murphy. Trey should have been starting over Herb for years now. Respectfully to Herb. Trey should have been starting over Herb like the last 3 seasons. Ever since we saw Trey get to the point where he was like, oh, this dude like he can average 20. Or those and BI and Z needed the spacing. They needed the offensive space, and you could have been starting Trey. That's a Willie Green thing. Especially since he supposedly talks to Joe a lot. I don't know, man. He need to be. When does Joe D get involved? He need to be involved now. The questions are out about him now. Word from, yeah, we did that one. Poole trade was good for the simple fact that he's not afraid to tell it how it is. Yeah, but you got a sucker. You got a sucker as the coach. Like he's prideful. He's prideful, bro. Like, and stubborn. Prideful and stubborn. Those two things don't work when you're trying to win, because, like, you ever heard people that are like, I'd rather lose my way than win your way. That's Willie Green. That's Willie Green. I'd rather go down doing what I want than be successful doing it the way you think would be. I'm not even gonna try it. He one of those dudes that you give advice to, and he'd be like, "All right, bet I heard you," and continue to do the same thing that he's been doing. Those are the people you got to cut off. That's why you got to fire him. Willie never been a fan of Zion trade. No, Willie is not a fan of offensive players. He is not a fan of offensive players. Look at the history. Look at the history. The only reason CJ, he like gave CJ the grace is because CJ was a vet, right? CJ's a vet, accomplished a lot. CJ ain't standing for that. CJ got more clout than Willie. Man, I'm coming off the bench for nobody. Why? Answer this question. Why are you so comfortable benching Poole in a worse offensive situation that we're in now than you would have been benching CJ, who at the time, like, the offense could have, like, CJ, we really could have used what CJ was off the bench. You never bench CJ, but you comfortable benching Jordan Poole. Think about it. It was never a consideration of, like, we talked about CJ need to come off the bench for this team to be his best self. All of a sudden I guarantee you if CJ was still here, he would never come off the bench. Never come off the bench. That's Willie Green, bro. That's some sucker shit. Is there any way we can organize a protest or something? This stuff is so unacceptable. Listen, I'm at the games booing. And maybe we gotta organize, but you gotta organize. I'm down. Be honest, I'm down. I know Willie is driving Poole up the wall with the dumb stuff because you got to be smart to even play in Golden State system. Come on, man. Come on, son. It seems like Joe just letting Weaver do whatever he wants. I think they had a plan, whether it's good or bad. I think they had a plan, but I think you're seeing the battle of two ideologies. I think you're seeing ownership wanting one thing, Joe Dumars wanting another thing, and Willie Green just not being good, just not being good or competent. Because even if ownership wanted to keep, let's say ownership, just look, we want to be cheap, we want to keep Willie and all of that, right? All Willie got to do is just play the players the way they supposed to be played. Like, he's really just making it obvious that he is not a good coach. That's really all it's boiling down to. But again, I think he's probably like, if I'm going to get fired anyway, I'm going to just do what I want. I'm already almost out. I might as well just do my thing. Fuck it. And I said this because he never looks like last year. If you notice during the 21 win season, if you watch him during those games, he was more animated than he had ever been. I think he picked up his first technical foul. I don't think he got through out the game or not. I can't recall. But if you remember, he was more frustrated last season on the bench than any season you had ever seen him. And I think that was part because he knew Griff was trying to get him out of here, right? I think he's come to grips, come to peace with it. They kept him. He knew the organization loves him. He's done his part to where it's just that they're going to fire me. Fucking cool. That's whatever. I'm bulletproof. You know what I mean? I'm bulletproof. I done my part. Yada, yada. CJ was the president of the CBA. Yup. Makes a difference. JJ would have been a better choice for head coach than Willie. Bruh. JJ would have never came here. But of course, JJ would have been a better coaching choice. From JJ's pod, you can tell how much he thinks the game, the mental aspect. Just listen to the way JJ talks about basketball, bruh. You never, and I mean never, hear real strategic basketball talk from Willie Green. It's never talking about, okay, what we looking for is, we sent the away screen, so we're looking for this man on the pin down, and it's never stuff like that, right? It's never schematics. It's never game planning and system and what we're looking for. We want to play fast, We want to play with force, 0.5, transition, like all just blanket flat terms. I don't think he understands or knows how to like create on this level or how to think or talk on this level. Like it's just apparently obvious. Never forget this dude was playing Tony Snell over Trey. He was playing anybody over Trey. And Trey had been productive. Anybody over Trey. He played Josh Richardson over Trey, Tony Snell over Trey, Garrett Temple over Trey, Herb Jones over Trey, CJ McCollum over Trey. The only one that made sense is BI because BI, all-star and all of that. But all of those people were playing over Trey if you think about it. They're going to mess around and have a panic sell at the deadline to recoup those picks. That's the plan. That's the plan. Willie is the polar opposite of JJ. Willie is so far from JJ Redick to where like is not even like mentioning Willie and JJ. And I don't even think JJ is a great coach, to be honest. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but he's still a young coach trying to figure it out. There's a lot to learn and all of that. But mentioning Willie Green and JJ Redick in the same breath is just ridiculous. Like it's just a ridiculous just the strategic aspect and all of that. But man, I don't know. So we are an hour and a half in, man. Appreciate it. What's the best thing? Let's see. What's the best thing that can be done to save the season beyond Willie? To be honest, that's the first domino. That's the first domino. How much of an improvement will Borrego be play calling wise? So these two questions kind of go hand in hand. This one, what's the best thing you could do to save the season beyond Willie? The coach has to go first. You have to go with Borrego first because you still have like the coaching philosophy is different. And I don't think that the team doesn't have plays or schemes that they know and could run. I just don't think that they're strategically being put in position to do them. What I think Borrego's going to do is give them an offensive system, but at least simplify it. Like example would be these guys have played in the league long enough in enough different places to where it should be easy to implement Jordan Poole off-ball movement or Trey Z pick and roll, Z Trey pick and roll, Poole Trey pick and roll. Like it should be easy to implement some of the small scheme. These dudes been playing basketball their whole life. Like they've been like Z played for Coach K, Poole played for Steve Kerr, Trey. I can't remember the coach for Virginia at the time, but all of these dudes have played for much better coaching and have like been playing basketball long enough. You should be able to teach them or have them run without, I ain't gonna say much work, but like y'all should be able to run some simple offensive concepts that's gonna be able to help you get this thing moving in the right direction, in my opinion. So the first thing you got to do is you got to go to Borrego, and hopefully Borrego can just play the players in the right position, like start the offensive lineups. What I'm hoping is he has the autonomy to come in and if he wants to bench Herb, can bench Herb. Look, everything's new. We go in a completely different direction with how we want to play, and he can come in and say, all right, Z Trey Poole, Sadiq Bey, and Carlo, hypothetically, if he wants to, or Derek Queen if he wants to, completely offensive lineup or something like that, and be able to reshape what the offense looks like. That's the first option. You do that, right? You do that first. And then how much of an improvement we've already seen James Borrego, and again, this was a long time ago, and I don't necessarily know if it can be salvaged, but you've seen James Borrego be able to maximize, and it was small sample size, obviously, but maximize Jordan Hawkins a little bit. If you can make Jordan Hawkins, hypothetically, let's say you do implement some off-ball stuff, right? He's really known for movement in the offense. If you can get Jordan Hawkins to be able to not have to handle the ball and just do a lot of what he did before, movement, off-ball, catching, shooting, you might be able to open up the offense and give yourself another weapon that you thought you had when you drafted a couple years ago, which makes it a little bit easier on Zion, which makes it easier on Trey. Like, it's so many possibilities that you can have if you just try to use the pieces that you have properly. Good morning, brothers. Whoa, shout out to you, bro. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Easy subscribe. Man, appreciate y'all, man. Man, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. You know what I mean? I like trying to roll through this season. Listen, I was big on this team being 49 to 50 wins. And if they do not fire Willie, I 0-82. Every game Willie Green is not fired, I think is a loss. I'm not giving them a benefit of the doubt to win any game. But if they do, it is still early enough in the season to where this thing can be manageable. Like, November is big. You got 16 games in November. They got 16 games to play in November. You already lost one. You 0-6. If you can somehow manage, because if you look down the schedule, they have the Hawks, no Trae Young. Hold on, let me pull it up, because they got some winnable games in November. Not right now, because nothing is winnable, but I'll pull it up. We'll go through that real quick. I was one reluctantly gave Willie grace just based off the position he's been put in since day one with the injuries. Goddamn, how fast can we move on? Need a new voice. I'm out. You out, I'm out, bro. There's nothing you could do. JP coming out of Golden State with current stuff at the head. Emotion, offense, all ball movement should be second nature for him. Exactly. And he'll probably welcome, bro. He was doing it in Washington. He was moving off ball in Washington, bro. You absolutely can like implement all ball movement. That's his game. We'll do none of it. Everything is ISO, catch and shoot. You barely give him the pick and roll. And the second you give him a little bit of it, the team is successful and competitive. Imagine if you did that stuff throughout the entire game. You could put so much offensive pressure on people, possibly if you plan the right 8 to 9 people. It's gonna help you eliminate some of your weaknesses defensively. But you gotta do it, and they're not. If I'm Borrego, I'm going to war with Willie behind his decisions in real time, create some controversy. He won't. He just won't. It's not his place or his job. And you realize that the NBA is more political than we think. That's something that we will want, that you will want to do, but it don't work like that. Because then he'll probably be known as somebody who was insubordinate to the head coach, not being able to listen and blah, blah, blah. Like, at the end of the day, this is Willie's job. And Willie makes the decisions. He the head honcho, and everybody underneath him need to understand that. Well, if that's the case, that's why Willie got to be the one to fall on the sword. If you say they can't win any games, that says more about our players than Willie. I agree, and it's a combination, to be honest, because they are playing so bad, so consistently that, and I don't know if it's them or how they're playing with Willie, but the combination of the two, like, they just won't win a game. Like, something got to give. And I think Willie is the easy one to get rid of. The Pistons started 0-4 last season. You can start bad and still right the ship. The problem is the Pelicans are so, bro. The Portland Trailblazers this season, when Chauncey was there, started off terrible. I think they were 0-2 or something like that. Chauncey got into that trouble. They went on a winning streak. So, like, you're gonna get the interim game boost You know, you get the interim coach boost. They don't even want that. I just feel like they don't care. They don't care enough. They don't care enough for it to be a real consideration. Let's see here. They won 3 games in November, December last year combined. The problem with that was they blamed it on the injuries. But what I was saying, because I watched all of these games, even with the injuries, the team was competing because BI was like, they had like people in and out right at the time. Like BI was rolling solo for a little minute. And in a lot of those games, like the games they possibly could have won, to like because they were going like a 5-game losing streak. A couple of the games in the midst of those losing streaks, you had opportunities to win, and the coaching just wouldn't get it done. The consensus around the 49 win season that it was the players. Can't be both ways. So like, yes, it was the players. That was a different group of players. Every season is different. And I'm saying with this particular team, I thought they was 49 to 50 wins based on the team. Yo, that's wild. I see you, Luke. Hold on, I gotta pull that up. Luke Bourgeois. I appreciate you for that comment. I thought that the players would be able to overcome the Willie Green shortcomings, because my thought was Willie can't be that damn bad to where y'all can't be good. Like the talent was there for y'all, to be better than the 30 wins. I thought y'all were like on a 45, because Willie was there when you won the 49 games. The problem is they have quit on Willie. They quit on Willie and in turn quit on themselves. So like, that's just a bad mixture. That's just a bad mixture. You won't beat, especially when teams that you're playing. Like if you look at the teams they went up against so far, they the teams they went up against so far have all been competitive teams. Memphis, competitive. The Spurs, a good team. Boston, championship. Denver, championship. Clippers, champion, like not championship, but like hope to contend for a championship. OKC, the actual champion. So like, you can't be struggling, right? Like going through your internal strife and not locked in against 6 teams that's trying to compete for the playoffs and have championship aspirations. They're going to beat the brakes off you. And that's what you see. You can't play, bro. You can't play professional sports, not be mentally, physically, and like locked in and think you're going to win. Like you're not just getting up and going to win. Like playing hard is not enough. Being smart is not enough. You got to be smart and play hard and be gifted and be talented, and the roster construction got to be right. Like it's a lot that goes into winning these games, and you can compete without having all of them checked off. But in this case, like we're at a deficit in so many that it's just tough to overcome, and especially when they quit. We don't even run curls, flares, or back screens. Simple stuff, though. Simple. James Borrego, this was the comment. Appreciate you for this one. James Borrego was the coach for the last game the Pelicans won. That is insane. Willie is currently on a 10-game losing streak. Like I think they lost the last 12. So actively add to the record another 12-game losing streak. I had him at about 52 wins. Dog, when we went through the roster, when we went through the schedule, that wasn't unbelievable. Give or take a game or two. You got to fire Willie to see what what you could salvage. You don't have the pick. Now, again, you don't have your pick. Even if you blow it up and get like something back, unless you send in Zion or Trey, like the only way you can salvage the season is if you send Zion or Trey Murphy to the Hawks. Like send Z or Trey to the Hawks and be like, say, dog, let me get that pick back. Give me Trey and like you take Trey, give me my pick and something else to make the something else to make the roster work. And that's the way you salvage it. If you're gonna blow it up, send Trey Murphy to the Hawks. Send Trey to the Hawks and see if they give you your first and something else back. Maybe that's the way to go. They got some young players over there. Give me what's his name? Ricochet, the number one for last year. Give me Ricochet, the number one pick, and you could take Trey Murphy, and then you be bad. And then you be bad. Damn, I didn't even think about it. That might work. If we had a starting center, I think this is a playoff roster with a good coach. The good coach part. I had him making the playoffs. Is Borrego undefeated when he coaches for the Pels? He absolutely is at a whopping 2-0. But the 2-0 was an impressive 2-0. I'm going to tell you why it was impressive. The 2-0, the first one came randomly against Dallas with Luke. I think Luka and Kyrie might have played, or maybe just Kyrie. I'm not sure. But it came against Dallas with no CJ McCollum, no Trey Murphy. And they beat the brakes on the road. They beat the brakes off Dallas. Hawk went for 30, right? I think you had a 20 or 30-point win. Will he come back the next night, change everything up? They lose, look like a completely different team. And then the win he had last season was even better because they had nobody. He got thrown in. I forgot why. I think Willie missed the game for like family or personal reasons or something like that. He got thrown in. Everybody was still hurt on a losing streak, and he go out there and gets a win. People was damn near mad that he got the win, but he goes out there and gets a win. Like under the same circumstances, Willie had just lost like 5 or 6 games in, and then Willie come back, and we proceed to lose every game the rest of the way. Every game the rest of the way. I know we beat the Jazz one time in 23-24. No, I don't think he was here back then. I know it's when he coached against Dallas. It was Dallas, and then the other game, I don't think it was Charlotte. I can't remember. Maybe it was the Jazz he beat. Maybe it was. This is a horrible start. Kurt, that's you, dog? Big Kurt, that's you? Do they fire Willie Green today? We hope so. I hope so, but I don't know. Yeah, it was definitely Dallas. Man, appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Practice getting ready to start. We probably going to roll into that. We're going to roll into the 11 o'clock when practice start. Hopefully we get the news of the firing. I do not think we will. Because honestly, if they was going to do it, they would have did it already. And the reports was coming out that they don't want to look bad but they don't want to look bad. They don't want to look like they were pressured into making the move. Whoa, what's up, Kurt? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. 8 means new beginnings. Absolutely. Appreciate y'all, bro. Hold on. We gonna I wanted to pull this up real quick because it's like what the schedule look like in November. So they got 16 I don't know if y'all can see that. They got 16 November games, right? You already lost one to OKC, right? So you got 15 games left in November. If you can somehow go 10-6, which is doable, you would be at 10-12 and manage the season going into December. And November, honestly, is one of your toughest schedules. Would they rather lose than be pressured into winning? Absolutely. It's the pride and ego. They don't want to feel like they're being bullied into making a decision that they knew that they should have made, because that means acknowledging that you were wrong. How hard is it for people to say that I was wrong? A lot of people struggle with that. So look, they got Charlotte. That's a winnable game. Charlotte, Dallas has not been playing well. That's a winnable game. San Antonio, they'll probably like, and again, while I say it's winnable games, I think they lose. Pels have to win at least 5 of the next 6. You gotta pull 10 out of the next 15, right? And we'll go through it, especially the Hornets and Mavs. Exactly, bro. So you got the Hornets at home. You could with no LaMelo, because LaMelo just got hurt. Dallas still no Kyrie. They've been struggling. San Antonio, let's call it a loss. Phoenix ain't good right now either. I think they just got to win. But Phoenix is 2-4. What's Dallas' record? Dallas is 2-4. They just as bad as you. Portland. You got Portland 4-2. They got the new bump. So you got Portland, Los Angeles, Golden State, OKC. See, all of this is tough. But if you get the new coach bump, you get the win streak don't start until you fire the coach. Until then, they're going to lose. I'm just of that mindset. They're going to lose until they do. So that's why I say November is the toughest month. But you could get one. I don't think they win any until Willie is fired. But let's look at possible games you could win. Charlotte, that's one. Dallas, that's one. Phoenix, that's another one. Portland, that's another one. Maybe they're not great. Maybe, but let's say no. Dallas is another one, 5. Atlanta, that's another one, 6. Chicago, possibly, because you should be. That's another one, 7. Memphis, you could beat Memphis, 8. Then Golden State and Los Angeles again. That's another one again. If Willie not fired, then Joe Dumars is just not that dude. That's how I was looking. Say, bro, you got jokes. Avery Johnson is enjoying retirement. If they hire Avery Johnson, and I like Avery Johnson from his time in Dallas, but if they hire Avery Johnson, bro, you not trying. Not in today's NBA. You ain't trying to win. So, but just want to put that out there, man. If you look, they have an opportunity. And a lot of the teams that, I'm thinking they'll lose to, like San Antonio, you should have beat San Antonio. If you play Portland, I think you could beat Portland. Like Los Angeles and Golden State, they ain't great teams. You could beat them. OKC a loss, Denver a loss. I don't know, man. I don't know. It all starts with what you do with the coach. And until you make that decision, hot ones. Giving them out to everybody. Ooh, give me Byron Scott, dog. Give me Byron Scott. In 2025. Just because it'll be some new blood. He probably come in there sounding ridiculous too. But they'll probably just be so happy that Willie gone. They'll be like, all right, we could do something. But, man, look, man, first off, I appreciate everybody for tapping into the show. Like, subscribe. I'm about to get ready to get out of here because we just Penny Hardaway, maybe somebody, anybody. They're gonna have to do something. The fact that they hired Joe Dumars shows that they're not trying. So I don't even have a problem with the Joe Dumars hiring. It was the process that they went through to hire Joe Dumars, but they just, I don't know. This is essentially a mom and shop pop, a mom and pop shop. That's the word. A mom and pop shop. Like everything is ran like, oh, you know him? Cool, bet. You like him? All right, cool. We're going to hire him. We're going to keep him around. They don't really like outsiders. You know what I mean? Anybody who bucks the system, they try to keep you out, And it's a lot going on. It's a lot. The ship absolutely sinking fast. Absolutely sinking fast, man. It's miserable right now. Again, the simplest way, and we'll close with this. The simplest way and the easiest way to even consider starting to turn it around is to fire Willie Green, because then whatever coach you come in with can have an opportunity for everybody to say, okay, we possibly got a new voice, some fresh ideas, possible change, because as long it's like bad management. It's bad management. As long as you know that damn supervisor or that manager that you work with, you know everybody work with somebody at their job and they know goddamn well you be like, this dude don't deserve this job. He gonna get all of us fired. He gonna get us all fired, traded, kicked out, something. We gotta go ahead and fade them, but they're not competing anymore. Simple. It's hard to watch a team quit, like, because when you quit in this league, you get the brakes beat off you. And it just look embarrassing. Like, it just look embarrassing. Joe hasn't been in the office for close to a decade. That was a bad hire. I was in Detroit when he was there, and them people couldn't stand Joe. I feel you. I paused. That's crazy. That's my bad. I shouldn't even say that like that. I apologize to you for that one. That's crazy. I agree with you. I agree with you. The Joe Dumars thing, they have been trying to hire Joe Dumars for like a decade because they're comfortable with Joe. They wanted to hire Joe Dumars before they hired David Griffin. So this was just them leaning, falling back on like their old ways and going to somebody that they already felt comfortable with. You know, Mickey Loomis, all of them dudes got a relationship with Joe Dumars. So that's where the Joe Dumars come from. But this ain't Joe Dumars' fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Schmidt, and I don't think Schmidt was wrong or lying when he said that they had the he had the mandate and all of that. But if that's the case, you handicap Joe. So the only thing, like, now with it being as bad as it is now, you can't even really you kind of can hold Joe accountable, because it's to the point where it's like they ain't gonna fire Joe. They just hired Joe and they just paid Joe. So Joe ain't going nowhere. But if you don't fire Willie, then it's like, well, damn, you said you didn't have no mandate. Shout out to Grubb for being able to get that question out there. So now we have it in the like we have it. You said there was no mandate. So that means Willie Green is your choice. So at this point, it's still your choice to keep Willie Green. If that's the case, now we need to ask questions about you. But when you backed up out of superiors, you bulletproof. It don't matter, which is why Willie probably moving like that. Maybe he bulletproof too. Maybe he bulletproof and he know it. Fuck it, we don't care. The last 3 games total deficit is like 90 to 100 points, atrocious. Bruh. And listen, if you think that they not going to, like, if Willie Green coaches tomorrow against the Hornets, even without LaMelo, the Hornets going to dog, like, they're going to dog walk us. They're going to be booing by we're going to be booing by the first quarter. We're going to be booing by the first quarter. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. That's just the way it's going to be. So, it kind of is what it is. And again, it's almost 11 o'clock. That news ain't hit. So you can assume that Willie Green is about to start practice. They in the building getting warmed up as we speak. And it's business as usual. You know what I'm saying? See y'all Tuesday, basically. He'll be doing an interview. This is the thing that's crazy. He gonna do the interview at practice or whatever. And I guarantee you nobody ask him about, they're probably not gonna ask him about the lineups and what he's been seeing. They're probably gonna add, they may or may not ask him about what he's been seeing in these losses, but they're not gonna phrase it like, you've been getting blown out the last couple games. What can you do to change it? And if they do ask him anything like that, it's just gonna be like, we need to trust each other. We need to play better. I need to be like shit like that. He's not gonna tell you what they actually need to do or take no real responsibility. No, they're not gonna do none of that. So I don't know. I don't really know what to tell you about it. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. It's the politics of the business. It's the politics of the game. My only thing is, and we all know Willie need to go. I've been saying Louisiana media is scary. Just look at the Brian Kelly situation. Say, dog, The powers that be in Louisiana bullies the media. And if you want to be in Louisiana, it's more about who you know, and like not the actual work you necessarily put in. Apparently they got something behind it. I worked the home opener. Zion missed game 3. We was looking for you in there too, bro. I figured you was in there working. You heard me? We normally cross paths. You heard me? Look, if I'm in there tomorrow, I'm gonna come look for you. If you're in there tomorrow, I'm gonna come look for you. But apparently they got some behind the scenes news about the Z injury and all of that, where he possibly, I don't know for sure, I'll just say that there was a lot of misinformation about Z in the game and stuff like that. So I don't want to go too much into that, but again, there's a lot of shit happening behind the scenes. That's just toxic through and through. A lot of reasons to why Willie need to go. Does Frank keep that job? Shout out to Frank, man. No, I don't think they keep Frank for the LSU gig. But shout out to Frank, bro. Talk about a dude that grinded and been great. You know what I'm saying? That dude is a pillar from a pillar from the city. And shout out to him for hopefully he makes the most out of his opportunity while he at LSU and maybe can get himself a head coaching gig somewhere, something like that, if that's something that he want to do. But he a hell of a recruiter and a hell of a coach. So shout out to Frank. Toxic environments get you nowhere. You still think it's an overreaction? You think what's an overreaction? What's an overreaction? Willie still decent? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Willie not decent. I can't agree. And the reason I can't agree, see, this is what I do that's different than what like Willie Green does, right? You said you gave an opinion and said, I think, I think it's an overreaction. It's like, all right, an overreaction about what? About Willie Green being a decent coach. I didn't just say, I didn't just say Willie Green isn't decent. I'm about to give you actual reasons why I think Willie Green is not a good coach. So, there actually could be some dialogue about that. The reason Willie is not a good coach is one, if you look at the coaching trees that Willie comes from, the Steve Kerr, because he was on that staff, and the Monty Williams, because he was on that staff, he coached, first off, he uses none of the coaching styles, whether it's offense or defensive, of either of those two coaches. Two, Willie was brought in to be, because he was thought to be a defensive mind. Now, in the previous years when they were ranked like top 6 in like defense and stuff like that, against the good teams, if you watch them play, they were never able to do anything defensively against any of the good teams from a schematic standpoint. And even now, when you're supposed to still be a defensive coach, your defensive principles, like they don't stop anybody. We're giving up some of the most points in the league, and we can't contain anybody. So just from that aspect, like from what it is that he came from and what it is that he's supposed to be good at, like those are the two things that I always think of when I think about any kind of player or something like that. Can you at least do what it is that we hired you to do, or what it is that they drafted you to do, stuff like that? So like at worst, they should be a competent defensive team or a competent rebounding team. He can't scheme them into like defensive turnovers or defensive rebounds, stuff like that. So that means in my opinion, he's not doing his part. He's not doing his job. Then if you say, okay, what's the other part of a good coach? Hey, I have a staff. Let me listen to the staff. I hired an offensive guy who's known as an offensive mind throughout the league. Throughout the league, James Borrego is respected as an offensive mind. As a coach, you have to put your people in position to do their jobs. He is not allowing James Borrego to run the offense, right? So at least if you're going to not be an offensive guy, at least let the offensive guy run his offense. You know, you remember the Titans at the movie where it's a championship game, and Coach Boone tell what's the guy man name? Tells his assistant and was like, look, you better get that defense, you better get that offense under control before I have to take over. Like, it ain't even like that, where you just letting the guy do his job, and and at some point you got to step in. It ain't even like that. So I can't give Willie Green credit for that. And even when the other parts of the game, like, it's almost as if he's not watching the game, because like he has the authority to call timeouts and stop runs and manage the game. Like, when it just feels like this shit getting out of control, our team not playing well, they need a break, right? We need to stop the momentum, right? He don't even do that. He ain't even doing that. You up 8? Hey, we up 6. We up 4. We up 4. Hey, they cut it to 2. They up 2. They up 6. Hold on, wait. Damn, you ain't taking time out none of that time? Bro, that's your you got one job. You got one job. Fail. Where can I find the info on what happened with the Z injury? Say, bro, that's exclusive news. That's exclusive news. You gotta know to know. You gotta know to know. And I hate to say it that way, but I'm not at liberty to say. I'm not at liberty to say. But believe it's gonna come out at some point. At some point it's gonna come out. Pause. Are these Pels bots in here saying Willie decent? I doubt it. Listen, I ain't at the point, man, where I got bots. I ain't at the point where I got bots. Like, I just me and y'all, bro, and I appreciate every last one of y'all for tapping into the show. Like, subscribe, all of that. Whoa, you say you DJing? Hold on. I'm not working tomorrow. DJing and UNO homecoming event, silent disco style. Where at? Is on campus or somewhere else? 11 o'clock hour, no news. Because ain't nothing happening. Willie Bulletproof, baby. He here for the next month. Minimum. Jordan Poole, Lane, stare down that will are so disrespectful. Listen, he probably feel disrespected by Willie Green as well. And then when you just hate somebody, it's creating a bad environment for everybody. It's creating a bad environment for everybody. The problem is two people's egos at play with that one, because Willie is hurting himself by not starting Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole, by having the ego and being upset about coming off the bench, is not putting Willie in a position to start him again. So it's just, two people, and excuse my language, but in a pissing match. But Willie's the one with the power. Willie's the one in the power. A DJ Clue exclusive at UNO. Man, I don't know if y'all know, but UNO homecoming, silent disco style. All right, that sounds like it's gonna be dope. UNO campus. When that is, man. Oh, I'm not working tomorrow. So tomorrow, UNO campus having an event tomorrow. That's what's up. Willie still hasn't gotten fired. Oh, well, I knew it wouldn't happen. Listen, man, until they fire him, he's not getting fired. And until he get fired, 0 wins. 0-82. Book it. 0-82. But I think I solved our draft situation. I think I solved our draft situation. November 4th. November 4th, Union Building, silent disco for UNO homecoming, man. P got that thing popping over there. Charlotte tomorrow. We got the Hornets coming in without LaMelo. No LaMelo. Hornets by 30. Hornets by 30. Game gonna be over. Game gonna be over in the third quarter. Calling it. Lock Willie out the building. Ain't gonna happen. He hosting practice right now. You'll be seeing the interview, the practice interviews probably in an hour or two. Probably in an hour or two. Stop it. What? Us losing to Charlotte? They got to win. We don't. The Hornets are not good. No, they're not good. But what evidence have we seen that we're gonna get a win with the way we playing? Unless you telling me that they don't fire Willie, and then say, okay, look, we all got off to a rough start. Water under the bridge. Poole, you go back into the starting lineup. Herb sit down for Sadiq Bey, and he makes some drastic changes and actually tries to turn over a new leaf, which we know he won't do these things because his history says he won't. His history says he won't. If he did, then maybe you got a shot. But until then, the players are going to still be upset. The offensive scheme does not work. Defensively, they are not good, and they're not playing hard. Hopefully, hopefully for themselves, they're embarrassed because their play is just disgusting to watch. This is just as much on the players that it is on Willie Green. It's just Willie Green is the easy one to fix right now. You putting Herb? You putting Herb over Bridges? They should be able to beat Charlotte at the crib. They should. But what evidence do you have? What evidence do we have that they will? None. Bridges and kind of dropped 20 each. Kind ain't been rolling. He about to get right. Kind about to get right in this one, dog. Shots is firing. And we don't have no shooters. We at the crib. Listen, I'm in the building always. But again, until they show, listen, and I was the dude saying they was going to win 49 to 50 games. But until they show any evidence of showing some kind of life, we can't believe in that. There's just no evidence to say that they will. To me, Poole needs to stay on the bench. So look, first off, from a financial standpoint, Poole making $30 million and being your second leading scorer and arguably your second best player says he shouldn't be on the bench. That's just from like that standpoint, right? But if you watch the games and you watch how your team looked when he was starting, right? The two competitive games you played when he started, you had chances to win and probably should have won both of those games. The other game that you had a chance of winning, right, was the Clipper game. Jordan Poole again going for 30, right? And it took Z a whole half because of the offensive limitations without Poole being out there, which is why it took so long for him to even have an opportunity to get something going, right? So the 3 games you had a chance to win, Jordan Poole was pretty much instrumental. 2 of them, he was in the starting lineup. Fears, and also, like, and I think Jeremiah Fears is going to be a star. He is not able to be as effective in the starting lineup as he is off the bench. So it just hurts your team. You need more offense, more shooting. Like, and right now with Trey playing the way he playing, Poole your second best player. Now, if Murray was available, maybe you could make an argument that Poole come off the bench. But with that not being the case, the fact that he made $30 million, your second leading scorer, your second best, not even your second, your best shooter on the team, like the way he breaks down the defenses and stuff like that, you need as much offensive help as possible on the court at all times. Yo, Vince, one of the on the strike. Yeah, can't argue that. We didn't pay him the contract though. The best he was looking The best he looked was coming off the bench. Bay needs to start. Bay needs to start for Herb. Bay needs to start for Herb because Herb, now you got to remember, Herb is like the defensive player. Like he's supposed to be the defensive anchor, but he's not playing defense well. And he's struggling offensively. So that hurts you. So you might as well place Sadiq Bay where Herb is, right? So you can add to the offense. And even if we didn't like give him the contract, that $30 million coming from us. You paying Jordan Poole 30, I think it's 31 million this season. 30, you got, so as of right now, think about this. Think about this. The game, the Clipper game, because this is crazy. The Clipper game, Jordan Poole played 33 minutes off the bench. 33 minutes off the bench gave you 30. All of your competitive games, Jordan Poole been around 30 minutes a game. 2 of them he was starting, the other one was off the bench against the Clippers. He makes 30 million. Now you got 30 million on the bench with Jordan Poole, and you got another 30 million not playing at all with DeJounte Murray. That's $60 million. $60 million not in your starting lineup. Think about that. $60 million not in your starting lineup because Murray not available and you deciding not to play Jordan Poole or not to play him as much as you can play him with your best player. You putting him out there with no other real offensive player so teams can just, take him away. Makes no sense. That's why your coach need to be fired. So, man, I appreciate y'all again, like tapping in, Whoa, what's good, bro? Look, I hit y'all with the early morning show, you know what I'm saying? Had to get this one in because I got some errands to go run, some stuff to go do. I get that, but Poole is erratic at times. Fears giving them some confidence at the PG position. I get DeJounte Murray not playing though. So the problem with Fears starting is not necessarily that you don't need Fears to be a point guard right now because you don't have the team that you had last season, which is why a lot, bro. We 2 hours in. we 2 hours in. Fears, and we'll end with this. Fears is learning to be a point guard, right? But Fears is still looking to score first. The problem is that you're essentially handicapping Fears to a degree because he can't play as free and good as he wants to play or can play because when he's in the starting lineup, he has to at least try to think about being a point guard, right? Man, I got to get Z involved. I got to try and get Trey involved. Or I'm open. I think I got to take it. Like, it's too much thinking as of right now for a young player. Well, when he comes off the bench, you could just let him do his thing and let it, like, he can be more in control of that situation. In this one, it's not really like that. So that's another reason. Poole been in the league long enough, understands his role. He can play on the ball enough to where you can maximize. Plus, in the offensive lineup, you need to be playing through Zion as much as possible anyway. So taking the ball out of Zion's hand even further hurts your offense. So I have a feeling they get to trade Brian at the deadline. We need the king. Brian will retire before he come here. Brian will retire before he ever plays a game for the Pelicans. I go watch it though. But yeah, man, the firing not gonna happen. Not today. That dude will be there Tuesday. But we definitely need a point guard to break down the defense. But I kind of get what you're saying. But that's what's been our problem. We've never had a pure point guard. Zion's not good enough to do that. Yeah, the problem is that this team is different than those past teams because before you had CJ, who they was trying to play point but was a scorer, Zion, and then BI, and then a lot of them operated in the same area. With this particular team, a pure point don't necessarily help as much because, like, Trey is more of an off-ball shooter. Like, we had so many players back then who needed the ball in their hands to be effective. in this particular sense, you could give the ball to Zion because Poole, Trey, and Herb to a degree all can function off ball. So it would work a little bit different, in my opinion, with not having a traditional point guard, like as opposed to having somebody who can shoot that's a threat out there. And Fears is a threat. He's just not the right kind of threat right now in the starting lineup. He's still a good player. He's still helping the team, but he just would be more effective off the bench. But man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm A. Davis, man. It's Pels in the Blender. You know what I mean? I'll probably do another episode maybe tomorrow after the game. We're gonna see what time I get home. But appreciate everybody for tapping in. Like, subscribe, share the channel. Appreciate everybody. Y'all stay safe out there. We're gonna be looking for this fire in the day. If they fire him today, I will be back with another episode. Believe that. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. We out. Peace.